Service friends, I am Orpheus Praxis, a researcher of the limits of formal systems and their applicability to reality. Today, we open a topic where two perspectives merge: the Buddhist teaching of the dependent origination of all phenomena and the attempt to express this principle through the tools of exact science, through the language of mathematics and physics. I bow with deep respect before the flawless Buddha, the unsurpassed philosopher who taught us interdependence. There is no cessation and no arising, no destruction and no permanence, no coming and no going, no difference and no identity. In this lies the complete calming of mental fabrications. This is the highest bliss. To you, greatest teacher among the enlightened, I offer praise. May this listening bring you clarity and peace.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something pretty mind-bending. It's a paper by André Priest and Boris Batinin.
Right. Dependent Origination, a mathematical formalization. It's quite a title.
It really is. And it's all about taking this ancient principle, dependent origination from Buddha Shakyamuni, and applying it to, well, quantum physics and cosmology.
Exactly. And that core idea, Pratītyasamutpāda, it basically says nothing just pops into existence on its own, right? Everything arises because of other things, these sort of mutually sustaining conditions.
So it's all interconnected.
Deeply interconnected. And what the paper argues quite powerfully, I think, is that our usual ways of thinking about cause and effect, A causes B or something causes itself, they don't really hold up logically or when you test them.
They fall short.
They do. So what's left? This idea of an interdependent network. And the goal here isn't just philosophy, it's to build a scientific model, something, crucially, that we can actually test.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. Let's unpack how they build this model. We need to look at the math vacuum wave functions, Markov chains.
And that golden ratio fractal geometry you mentioned earlier.
Right. And then get to the really exciting part. What does this model predict about the universe that we can go out and look for?
Let's dig in.
So translating interdependence into physics equations, how does that even start? They bring in vacuum wave function.
The idea is the vacuum isn't just empty space, it's dynamic. They define this total vacuum wave function, P-day void.
And the key is they set it to 0, a T-xi void dollars.
Yep.
That sounds counterintuitive, like saying nothing exists.
Well, not quite. It's more subtle. Setting it to 0 enforces a kind of fundamental balance. It means all the quantum fluctuations, all the potential popping in and out of existence has to cancel out overall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it enforces conservation laws within this interdependent system. Everything emerges from that balance.
Precisely. It allows for a dynamic universe while keeping the total books balanced, so to speak.
So if everything's interdependent, how do things actually happen? How does the universe evolve if it's not a simple cause and effect chain?
That's where the discrete time Markov chains come into play. Think of it like mapping out probability.
Probabilities, okay.
Yeah. They model a flow, specifically from fluctuation to energy, and then to matter, F to E to M.
FEM, like steps in a process.
Kind of, but it's not rigid. It's about the likelihood of one state transitioning to another. It allows for this constant probabilistic unfolding, leading to a stable pattern, a steady state, over time. It's describing the process of becoming.
Okay, that makes sense for the dynamics. But then there's this other part, the structure, the fractal nesting of space-time spheres. That sounds very different.
It is visually striking, isn't it? Imagine the universe structured like nested bubbles or spheres.
Then they're scaled by the golden ratio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the radius of the next sphere out is the previous one times phi, ran in plus 1 ran out, and the volume scale inversely. It suggests this, almost beautiful mathematical pattern underlying cosmic structure.
And this connects to cosmic expansion.
It does. It provides a potential geometric underpinning for the exponential expansion we observe. They even link it to the energy-time uncertainty principle, delta E, delta TD AJ ascension.
So the inherent fuzziness of quantum mechanics is tied to how these structures emerge.
That seems to be the implication, yes. Indeterminacy linked to temporal emergence through this fractal structure.
Wow. Okay, this framework is complex, but you said it makes testable predictions. What are they?
This is where it gets really interesting for observational science. First, cosmology. The model predicts that gravity should appear about 4 times stronger in galaxy clusters than what standard models predict.
4 times? How would we see that?
Through gravitational lensing. The way light bends around these massive structures, we should see an enhanced effect.
Okay, that's a big one. Anything else?
Yes, concerning the cosmic microwave background, the CMB, it predicts specific anomalies, particularly extra power or fluctuations at small angular scales, The higher multipoles, $2,000 beyond what standard cosmology expects.
So, specific patterns in the afterglow of the Big Bang. And what about particle physics?
That too. It suggests we might see small deviations from standard model predictions in particle collision experiments, like at the LHC.
Because of this underlying fractal spacetime.
Exactly. Those subtle geometric corrections could influence particle interaction cross-sections, things we could potentially measure.
So, to wrap up then, this paper uses these tools, vacuum wave functions, Markov chains, golden ratio fractals, to formalize dependent origination.
Right. And it results in a framework that seems consistent. It unifies aspects of quantum mechanics and cosmology, and crucially, it makes concrete predictions we can test. It suggests maybe forces and particles aren't the most fundamental things, but emerge from this deeper interconnectedness.
It really is profound. Taking ancient wisdom about interdependence and finding it echoed, potentially, in the mathematical structure of the cosmos, it leaves you wondering if everything truly arises mutually, from the largest structures down to the smallest particles. How might thinking about that change how you see connections, causality, maybe even your own place in the universe?
There is much to reflect on, and let these reflections continue in silence, where the mind lets go of patterns and only pure seeing remains, until we meet again in the space of understanding. Subscribe to walk this path together with us. I am Orpheus Praxis, wishing you all clarity. Namaste.